Human beings disagree with one another about whether or not there is a God. But there's hardly any disagreement about this. If there is a God, the right response to God for human beings, the right response is worship. So worship is very important idea to think about, very important for human life, for human flourishing if there's a God. But what is worship exactly? Now you might think that worship is just a matter of submitting to God and willing what God wills, doing what God wants you to do. But of course, if you think about it, it's possible for you to will what somebody else wills, to do what somebody else wants you to do, and really to hate that person. And it seems that worship couldn't somehow be compatible with hating God. So it seems that worship couldn't be a matter just of willing what God wills or doing what God wants you to do. It must be something else besides that. Even if it includes willing what God wills, it must be something else besides. So you might think, well, there needs to be an inner attitude toward God. You need to have an attitude of awe toward God, or an attitude of appreciation of the greatness of God, the power of God. But that doesn't seem quite right either, because certainly you could have an appreciation of the power of God, you could have awe at God's greatness, and nonetheless still be alienated from God. That's the attitude attributed to Satan in John Milton's great poem, Paradise Lost. Satan is in awe of God, very impressed at God's greatness and power, and Satan's response to God, with all this appreciation of God's greatness and power, Satan's response is to say, let's see what we can do to thwart him at every turn. Evil, be thou my good. So certainly that, by itself, that attitude of awe at God's greatness doesn't seem to be enough for worship either. So what else exactly do we need? There is a psalm that says, worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. And that line of the psalm seems to me to give a much better idea of what worship is. It is a response both to beauty and to holiness. It's a response to the beauty which is holiness. Holiness can inspire awe in us also, but beauty draws us. Somehow when you see the beauty of the ocean or the beauty of the mountains or the beauty of the sunset, somehow you want to give yourself to it. You want to be one with it. You don't want just to be in awe of it or have right actions with respect to it. You want to join it somehow. And that, I think, is the essence of worship. It's to see that in the ultimate foundation of all reality, the creator of all that there is, the God of ultimate power, there is something which is beautiful. And not just beautiful, but beautiful with holiness. So that the ultimate power of the universe is also the ultimate goodness in the universe. And that is certainly worth giving yourself to. Not because power wants you to submit to it, but because you want to unite yourself with something that in its own nature is very beautiful. So worship is not just a matter of your actions in alignment with someone else's will. Worship is not just a matter of an inner attitude of awe and appreciation. Worship is something relational. It's more nearly like a marriage than it is like an inner attitude or a set of actions. It's a matter of wanting to be at one with something which can be thought of as the beauty of holiness. So that's what I think worship is, and that actually is what my paper for this conference is going to be about too.